Water, earth, fire, air.
My grandmother used to tell me stories about the old days, how the four nations once lived in harmony, how everything changed once industrialization attacked. Only selected humans cared for all four elements. Only they could stop other global secrets. But when the world needed them most, they vanished. A couple of years have passed and we discovered new technologies to save us. Although their functions are great, we still have a lot to learn before we can save everyone. I believe humanity being united can save the world.
Air, a mixture of gases comprising Earth's atmosphere that is mainly made up of nitrogen and oxygen. Oxygen, comprising approximately 21% of the Earth's atmosphere, is needed by humans along with many other creatures to survive. Plants and animals utilize oxygen to breathe and then release carbon dioxide into the air and water. During the process of photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is taken up by algae and terrestrial green plants and converted it into carbohydrates, with oxygen as a byproduct. The waters of the world are the biosphere's primary oxygen generators. Their algae are believed to renew almost 90% of all oxygen used. As a result, it is involved to some extent in all other biogeochemical cycles, such as the transfer of oxygen-containing compounds from detritus from living organisms. The level of oxygen in the atmosphere appears to be rather steady because of global agricultural developments that have increased plant production, notwithstanding the decline of natural resources and the burning of fossil fuels.
Dissolved oxygen is the quantity of oxygen dissolved in water. Both the atmosphere and aquatic vegetation provide oxygen to water bodies. Running water, such as a fast-moving stream, dissolves more oxygen than stagnant water like that found in a pond or lake. The amount of oxygen in the air is far higher than in water, which contains only a fraction of 1% oxygen. When air and water meet, the huge concentration difference causes oxygen molecules in the air to dissolve into the water. The aerating effects of wind causes oxygen to dissolve in surface water. Fish and other aquatic animals require oxygen in order to thrive. They cannot live when dissolved oxygen levels fall too low. Us humans play a massive part in the balance within the oxygen cycle, like many other living organisms, need oxygen to survive. In order to generate oxygen, there are various processes including photosynthesis. As we all know, photosynthesis is a process that uses sunlight to convert carbon dioxide and water into food, and the byproduct of this process is oxygen. However, changes in the number of these oxygen-producing organisms will affect the balance of the oxygen cycle.
First, deforestation is one of the many acts of humanity that significantly affects the balance in the oxygen cycle. Deforestation removes a large number of trees to utilize the land for other purposes. The more trees that are being cut down, the less capable Earth to resupply oxygen. Aside from plants, another vital source of oxygen is found in the ocean. An alga called phytoplankton is estimated to produce 70% of Earth's oxygen. If left unchecked, uncontrolled global warming could result in the loss of a significant source of oxygen. One major cause of global warming is the combustion of fossil fuels, which consumes oxygen and increases carbon dioxide. Another leading cause of global warming are factories. Oxidation processes within factories require oxygen to manufacture materials for industrial purposes. These processes contribute to the increase in Earth's temperature. An increase in the Earth's temperature leads to more heat absorbed by the ocean. As the ocean warms, more distinct layer forms. Warmer water sits above cooler water, which houses a lot of nutrients. These water stratifications keep the phytoplankton at the upper layer where the light is abundant and separates them from the nutrient-rich cool water. When their nutrients deplete, the stratified waters prevent them from gathering more, leading to a decrease in phytoplankton concentration. The decline in phytoplankton concentration will cripple another lung of the earth.
How do invasive species affect the oxygen cycle? Invasive species can be any kind of living organism that is not native to an ecosystem and causes harm. It is a newly introduced organism that overpopulates and badly affects its new environment. Dissolved oxygen levels in healthy aquatic habitats are generally at or above 80% saturation. Most fish and other species cannot survive in an environment with less than 30% dissolved oxygen saturation, which is referred to as hypoxic. A dissolved oxygen level of 0% saturation is called anoxic, which means there is no dissolved oxygen present. Excessive algal and phytoplankton proliferation caused by high levels of phosphorus and nitrogen is a primary cause of oxygen depletion in a water body. When engaged in active photosynthesis at night, these photosynthetic organisms use oxygen through respiration. Additionally, as algae and phytoplankton die, the decomposition process requires a substantial amount of dissolved oxygen. If these blooms are dense or a die-off occurs suddenly, the impacts to fish can be more severe and cause fish kills. One example of this invasive species is oxygen weed. It has already invaded New Zealand and Europe and can inhabit freshwater lakes, dams, and slow-moving streams. It produces dense mats that block sunlight, thereby killing native aquatic plant and animal species in the process.
Epigenetic changes are genetic modifications that impact gene activity without changing the DNA sequence. Within the complete set of DNA in a cell, all of the modifications that regulate the activity of the genes is known as the epigenome. Because epigenetic changes, they help determine whether genes are turned on or off. They influence the production of proteins in cells. This control ensures that each cell produces only proteins that are necessary for its function. Individuals, tissues within an individual, and even cells within a tissue have distinct patterns of epigenetic modification. Abnormal gene activity or inactivation can result from epigenetic errors. Epigenetic errors have been linked to diseases including cancer, metabolic problems, and degenerative illnesses.
Cardiovascular disorder, one of the world's major causes of death, reaction oxygen species, or ROS, can act as damaging molecules, but they also serve as an important nodes in cellular signal networks. Although the underlying processes and effects of pathophysiologically increased ROS in the cardiovascular system are yet unknown, research shows that they play an essential role in the development of the cardiovascular illness.
Everyone should do their part in defending the Earth. Even the most simplest ways can already be a huge contribution to Earth's gradual healing. Be the change in this world before it is too late. Help us in spreading this message. We are Earth's last hope, and I hope you do your part.